Hey, what's up? This is Daniel from Age of Ruin. Somebody better call AAA because you're listening to Heavy Mental Breakdown.
All right, I gotta figure out what this AAA thing is. You've said it a couple times out now. What's the story behind the AAA Better Call? What's going on with that?
Ben, that's all you, man.
There's a period of time, the song builds right before the breakdown. I'd yell out, everybody, you better call AAA. There's going to be a breakdown.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
Oh, that's in one of your songs.
Nah, I mean, it was just kind of like a call out live kind of thing.
Oh, gotcha. I like it. Well, it should be in one of your songs. Next song. I don't
Yeah,
know.
yeah.
Age of
Working in.
Ruin. What's going on, guys? Thanks for jumping on the show.
What's up? Thanks.
What's up?
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Yeah. For anybody who doesn't know who Age of Ruin is, what's just a little bit of a background you guys can give us, just so we can learn a little bit more about you?
Hey, I'll take a stab at that, Ben. So the band started in 1998, actually, and
Oh.
yeah, we've been around for a minute. And but really, it's we were a group of friends that, like many bands, started playing music together. And as we started going to more and more shows and started to absorb a lot of the sound of the scene around us, we really felt like we knew how where we our place in the world. So um, the band really, though, to describe it is, I've said this in other places, is we're just a bunch of punks, a bunch of hardcore kids that play metal, and we've always been driven by the technical part of metal and love all of most of us grew up listening to in the 80s and 90s listening to some pretty technical stuff like Megadeth and Slayer
Sure.
and but getting exposed to some of the Swedish metal in the 90s, Carcass and At the Gates and In Flames and clearly in that lot pushed us towards this more guitar driven melodic sound. And but that spirit, that punk rock spirit, hardcore spirit that's there, has always been in us. So
That really never goes away.
no, right.
No.
And and at the time when we started this band, we were influenced by bands like Earth Crisis and Snap. Um, those heavier hardcore bands, Integrity, that were really kind of metal, especially considering like compared to hardcore music, right?
Hmm.
I think we kind of took it to the next step with like a more melodic guitars that have harmonies in them and that kind of sound, and that was sort of the origins of metalcore in those days.
Yeah.
Um, but
Where would you say that you're okay? So since this was you guys started this in 1998, and it's I don't even know how many years is that now. That is
but
28 years, something like that.
yeah, you don't got to count
Oh wow. No, it's good though. It's good. What would you say the progression of the band has been musically, like from when you guys first started to now? Or are you still in that same phase where like this is still punk and rock and roll and we're still kind of the same band from 20, some years ago? Or do you think you've changed a little bit?
them. I think a lot of it's come full circle in a way. I might toss this over to Ben because particularly in a lot of the vocal structures and melodies and stuff, I hear a lot of grunge influences. And in a way, the band, us musically, we've become more talented. We've actually been studying our instruments for 30 years now,
Hmm.
studying music theory and understanding it better.
Hmm.
Yeah, we come back to this idea that like simple, like more, less is more. So we,
Yeah.
and I think particularly you hear it in a lot of the vocals, I would say, that grunge influence.
Recently constantly saying now, and it's been in the last month or two. I've had a lot of bands from Virginia come on the show, and up until the last couple months, I didn't really realize how passionate Richmond is for the underground music scene there. Um, yeah, I've made some friends. I know some bands out there now, and they talk very highly of the Richmond scene. How are you guys enjoying the Richmond scene? How do you feel that Virginia as a whole, as this community is kind of blowing up right now? How do you feel that that is how are you guys connecting with this, with like the new crowds coming in, and how is that all going?
We just played down in Richmond last Sunday with Filth. It was pretty fun.
Cool.
Um, Richmond has always been, as long as I've been going to shows and following music, it's always been a really, um, uh, it has a really strong punk rock scene, a really artsy scenes. Artsy
Yeah.
going. Didn't want to say that and sound like I was being too critical in a way, because um, the over the years I've seen this evolution of scenes kind of gr- collapse and then grow back. We see
Mm-hmm.
a lot of times where um, there's just really good moments in history in some of these scenes where shows are having 400 kids at every show. The the energy is really positive. Um, those are the types of shows that people talk about for years and decades, right? And then maybe it has something to do with the way that just um, either just generations moving in and out, or maybe it's because there might have been a couple of really strong bands in the scene at that time and in that particular geographic area. But that is not true of Richmond. Like I've seen that scene just kind of just stay strong and stay pretty like well nurtured over the entire.
Hmm. Cool.
We are actually from Northern Virginia, so that's about 100 miles north of there. We're actually a lot closer to Washington D.C.
Mm. Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
it's we I frequented shows in DC in Richmond all of the time when I was in younger years. We could every weekend we'd either be in Richmond or Baltimore, which is one
Yeah.
of the being in this area is that we've got some large cities that are within driving distance, right? So
Nice. Do you guys ever play out here in New York?
mhm. Yeah, it's in Brooklyn, right?
Yeah.
Oh, cool. Where'd you guys play at? That's where I'm at. I'm in Brooklyn.
Gold Sounds, right?
Ah, Gold Sounds.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, I'm like 2 blocks away from Gold Sounds. I love it there.
All
Okay.
right.
They always got great shows over there.
It was cool. It was the first time we played in New York in easily over a decade. So
Oh, okay. It's been a minute.
yeah.
Well, we are here because of a song that you guys have that you're about to release. We are recording this on what's the date today? On March 18th, and this track comes out on the 27th.
That is correct.
By the time this episode comes out, this track is now out. And if you didn't know, now you know. Falling by Age of Ruin is out, streaming everywhere. So go listen to that song first, and then come back and hear this breakdown and kind of hear a little bit more of an understanding behind the song. But I think it's cool that you guys already have something new coming out because you guys just put an album out called Nothing Man late last year.
Yeah. Yeah. It was
Yeah,
October, what was it, 27th? What was
it
it?
says on Apple that it was October 17th.
17th. All right. I knew there was a
Yeah.
7 in there.
Yeah. How did this album do for you guys?
I think we've been excited about the success. It's been listened to by more people than we anticipated in this amount of time,
Nice.
and we've been getting a lot of praise from it, and it was something that was just writing the record with Ben and the rest of the guys was very fulfilling, on an emotional level, on a on a mental level, pushing our talents,
Yeah.
also taking some risks with I think with some of the content, with the lyrical content, which I think we'll get into with Falling a little bit. Just really, above all, we approached this record wanting to write the best record we could, just absolutely making decisions along the way of what's not good enough. We don't, not necessarily it's not good enough, but what needs more attention? What do we need to focus on to tighten up? Or maybe these notes aren't correct for the emotion we're trying to convey here. So we really tedious, put a lot of work into the record, and then went with the right team to do the recording, and learned a lot through that process. Had a good video team too. So
nice.
So,
Yeah, I think it's awesome that you're saying that. Like, even though you guys have been around for a minute, you're still trying to like perfect your stuff. You're still wanting to put out the best album you can.
Always chasing the art, man.
Always chasing it. So Falling, what does this song mean to you guys? Kind of just we're about to dive deep into it, but kind of just surface level. What's this song about, and what does it mean to you?
Simple answer. It's just kind of like the pressures in life, that everybody feels, we all feel, the weight that, people carry that we don't know about.
like some of the hook on it is help me find the ground I'm falling.
Help me find the ground.
Right. So
that's rough. All right. This is Falling by Age of Ruin. It is out now. Let's break this track down. All right, we're going to stop it there for a couple minutes, and we're going to chat about these first set of lyrics here. Feasting on the will of humanity. Give me the hate you keep a secret beneath your eyes. Hearts carved in stone fall apart as they start to beat. These pieces crumble and you begin to stumble. I think my favorite line here in this part is, give me the hate you keep a secret beneath your eyes. It seems like a liar, a manipulator, someone who tells you one thing and then kind of does another. Feasting on the will, fall apart as they start to be. Heart carved in stone. A heart of stone. It's just a rock. It's just something there. It's not even beating. It's not real. It doesn't have emotion.
It's talking about like, or I guess I was trying to express, I feel like people have become so numb. So, and that's just the heart of stone,
Mm-hmm. Feasting on the will of humanity. I feel like there's a lot of that going on right now.
Yeah.
They are, without naming certain things, I feel like there are institutions that are trying to scare us right now, trying to distract us of certain things.
Yeah, I love the line, hearts carved in stone fall apart.
Yeah.
The beat, like, it's like the heart is like stone, rock hard, and then it's trying to be what it wants to be, and then just dissolves, right?
Oh, so there is a heart in that stone.
Yeah, I guess what I was trying to talk about there is like, the numbness, and you know, so, being able to step back, maybe, and see it from a larger picture, and maybe some kind of self realization, and also like you know, feeling that anxiety of you know, or just feeling anxiety itself. You know, if anyone out there knows, you know, those feelings, you know, it comes over you in waves, and you know,
Mhm.
I be, you know, pieces crumble, I begin to stumble. That's just that feeling of, you know, falling apart, you know, that dizzy feeling, you know, and that's just
Hmm.
what I was getting there.
Where this takes me, it has nothing to do with the numbness of really of how society is or how really anything is right now. Where this takes me is a really bad relationship that I had. And the reasons why earlier I had said things like manipulation or lying because the relationship I was in was very manipulative, and it's so weird. Like growing up, I had always heard the word, not always, but I had heard the word narcissist many times,
Mhm.
but I never really knew what that meant until I was going through a relationship with one, and then I was able to see it for what it was. I'm like, oh, that's what I was in. Beneath, keep a secret beneath your eyes. You're kind of just holding it to yourself.
Mhm.
I'm holding these secrets from you.
Hearing this part come together, the delivery is really interesting too. So when you listen to this section of the song, which
It
is
is.
kind of the chorus, um, there's the lines, the first and the third line, over the edge I hear them call, and this is where you belong, are delivered
Hmm.
um,
Yeah, I liked that.
spooky sort of a way, where the line "Help me find the ground I'm falling" and "Voices from the depths are calling" are sung in a really high, like higher register,
Yeah.
and it gives that, to me, it gives that sense, like you were talking before, Ben, that anxiety that's there. That's like, it's like sort of two, like almost like the two, the devil and the angel on the
Yeah,
shoulder.
yeah, those inner voices. That's exactly, you know,
Yeah.
exactly it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's why I was saying like even someone with like an addiction because it is their inner voice. It is that like they know that we know that we're doing this to ourselves sometimes.
Yep.
Hearts carved in stone fall apart, pieces crumble, you begin. This is where you belong. There was a while there where I thought that I belonged by myself, that I wasn't worthy of love or a relationship or a good career or just not deserving of a lot of different things.
That's an interesting point you make, Matt, in that kind of, when we were talking about setting this time up to talk, one thing that went through my head was specifically about the lyrics and the way that this band has evolved. One of the thoughts I had was how early on I think a lot of our lyrics were very metaphorical, like much more so than now, right? Um, and I think it may have been part to do with using big words that want to like make us sound smart and intelligent,
Sure.
but it was also like drawing from some of the influences we had, which were bands like Nirvana and White Zombie and Tool. Before those bands were the essentially the gateway for us to hardcore and more extreme metal. You got to start somewhere. But a lot of lyrics that I can remember from those days had that metaphorical aspect to it, where you had to, as the listener, really read through it and try to interpret what the meaning was. And in a way, what it could do is those lyrics could have a different meaning to you than it could to me, right?
Hmm.
Which I always thought that was a pretty interesting, and I was inspired by that approach of lyric writing. But that's not to say that there's only one way to do things, like
Oh,
one,
for sure.
yeah, right. And it makes you. Then I started thinking about, well, geez, like, okay, who's the biggest band in the world? The Beatles. And what's the one song that probably everyone on this planet's heard? I want to hold your hand, right? you could not get more deliberate and specific.
Sure.
And you think of like Whitney Houston, like, and I will always love you. Like that, there's still so much emotion packed into it, partly because of the words, but also the delivery of the vocalist, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah, absolutely. Delivery plays a way bigger role than a lot of people might think.
yeah. So it made me realize that I was thinking back to our history, and that in some ways our words, the lyrics, I think have become more deliberate and less metaphorical. I say that when it kind of almost like ironically when we looked at that first paragraph, um, but part of that I think is also us letting our guard down a little bit with it, and taking on like
Mm.
the risk of letting people know our real feelings and emotions, because when you become less metaphorical with the lyrics and more deliberate, it removes it removes any sort of cloud of of doubt over what these lyrics are about.
Yeah.
This particular song has a little bit of, I think, a good mix of both, and it keeps that Age of Ruin brand and theme intact, while also um, as as just observer to Ben's lyric,
Yeah.
that
I
emotion.
don't know if this at all plays into your guys' story and why you became more vulnerable in your music. But a topic that comes up often on this show where bands have kind of made a little bit of a switch in their music, and a lot of them like to say for the better. But 2020 and COVID time, when you were kind of just sitting there and you didn't know what was happening in life, and there was a lot of people kind of finding themselves. Did you guys find yourself doing any of that during COVID? Do you think that that time that you guys had uh, helped in any way, or maybe guided you a different direction in your music?
Well, 100%.
Mm.
We got to write another record. So Nothing Man came together because of that. I think we started really writing these songs a couple of years. Geez, it's been 4 or 5 years at this point. Yeah, a lot came out of that. I think.
The only thing I could say with that is, I spent a lot of time, listening to music so much that, I started branching out to other things and just, finding that there was a lot more out there that I liked, that just, beyond metal and grunge and everything else,
Mm.
So
Yeah.
pulling those influences, they just kind of leak in with,
Yeah, absolutely. I never really thought about that. So did I. I was listening to such a crazy wide range of music during that
yeah.
time. Like one of my best friends found a couple country artists that he liked, and he's like, "Dude, just give him a chance." Like, fine. I was like, "All right, fine." And now they're on my rotation now.
Hey, that's it, man. That's it.
Anyway, we still have some song to listen to. Let's keep listening to this track.
Every
Well, that was Falling, the newest track by Age of Ruin. That was a good track, guys. That was a good track. Especially there at the end. Like, I felt like it started to get more, if this word makes sense to fit with this, but more cinematic. It felt like it was building.
Oh yeah, thanks for that. We really liked the idea of a big climax and dynamics in the songs.
Yeah. Yeah, I felt that.
That's cool.
Some of the new lyrics that were added in there was not too many, but there was a this darkness takes another part of me. The lines begin to blur all around me. The shadows creeping in surrounding. Each second then begins to slow down. My eyes begin to fade as I sink into the sound. What does this part mean to you guys?
Can I talk about what happens musically? Because that's what I can offer to this. When we come into that section, the song moves into a different mood, into a different feel.
Yeah, it definitely does.
So, so from a songwriting perspective, the chord changes there open up the emotional side to be have a little bit more hope. Is what the
Mm,
for, and I think from a
yeah,
when you when you use the word cinematic, that's actually sort of what we were going for was to
cool.
have effect on the emotion and the mood by moving it into more of a like a major key sound. It's actually Mixolydian mode, but it has that sort of a more of a optimistic and hope,
Yeah.
and it sort of ends with that with a climax or hitting it back again with that earlier sound, which was that um, more minor key, um, more tension and stress to it. So
Yeah,
um,
I definitely got that.
having
I
that, I think,
actually felt
was
that. Let me say that instead. I felt that.
and that I think was what Ben was building on.
Hmm.
Right, Ben, as with the words.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of. I'm looking for the right way to say it.
Yeah, take your time.
Sorry. Um, hmm, having trouble putting it in the words.
Hmm.
Yeah, so like the that section begins with the lines begin to blur all around me. The shadows creeping in, surrounding. There's a lot of play on light and in that section. Um,
Yeah.
what I get out of that is like you know from that earlier feeling of despair, uh, all of a sudden with that change in the movement of the music, there's this moment of um, kind of giving in to the moment, kind of accepting, and that's what I kind of read into it. And this is the first.
And that's like the hardest part. It's just like accepting is almost like giving up in a way.
And by the way, I should add that this is the first time I've even had this conversation. So this isn't me having like coming from having kind of like heard Ben tell me this. This is I'm also like adding my personal experience here.
Yeah. I got a question for you, Ben. So,
Mhm.
not specifically the lines and what you mean by it, but just these lyrics and this song in general. When you were writing these lyrics, where did your mind go?
Really, I was dealing with a lot of anxiety, personal stuff, and the again, even the feel of the song, the whole first half of the song is a much darker feel,
Hmm.
and that key change was, the lines begin to blur all around me. It's like, you've spent all this time in the dark, you come out
Hmm.
of a cave into the sunlight, it's hard to see.
You're a vampire at that point.
Right, right, and the shadows creeping in, surrounding me, realizing, all the things that you've maybe surrounded yourself with that you shouldn't have. And, you know,
Yeah, we did it to ourselves.
yeah.
Yeah.
So other than that, you know, it's the sinking into the sound. That's just, really I guess the self realization maybe. And, going with it.
It sounds like a place of just being lost. My eyes begin to fade as I sink into the sound. I feel like I'm questioning every single thing that I see and hear right now. I'm like, I don't know what's real, what's not real, what's AI, what's not AI. Like, I feel like lines are beginning to blur all around me right now. Everywhere I look, I'm just like, wait, what happened? What is this email? What is this list that we see? What does that say? Shadows creeping in all around me. Like, when we're in that moment, that's all we can feel. When we're feeling these anxieties, and I have bipolar, so like whenever I'm going through like a mood thing, um,
Yeah.
yeah, I feel myself sink a lot with what I'm going through, and sink in a way where it's just like I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do right now, and I kind of just sink in it.
Yeah, that's what I meant when I said that I this felt like it was that sort of giving in or accepting.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
that,
definitely.
like if you get caught in quicksand, you fight for a while, but eventually you have to give in and just let it happen and stop fighting it, or else you're just gonna keep sinking in further, right?
Yeah.
And it's just sort of accepting the situation or
How are you guys feeling for this release? With, the song being as vulnerable as it is and how it can relate to a lot of people right now, a lot of different ways. Yeah, how are you feeling just about a week or so before this track is out for the world? How are you feeling?
I feel great.
Yeah, I'm always pumped to release something new.
Hmm.
Really special for us. It's the first track that we recorded as a group after Nothing Man. So, um, to your point about feeling vulnerable, since we feel we're very excited and happy with the success of Nothing Man, we want that to continue. So, in a way, that's maybe that's a little bit of that.
Oh, okay. So on the last album, you started to get that's when the change kind of really started on the last
Quite,
album.
quite a bit, yeah. And I would say that this
Gotcha.
continuing in that direction, I think has been proving to be the right
Good.
good fit for us.
Yeah,
Uh,
I feel like audiences and listeners can feel when something is just like, okay, this is real, this is true, this is how they really feel right now because of the way that they're getting it out, from the way they project their voice. Like I notice that stuff in in music all the time, even in like a guitar solo. I'm just like, oh, I can feel this guy's soul through the solo that he's playing right now, or like a tone in his voice. I feel like that all really matters a lot.
100%. To me, it matters so much that that's why I have zero fear about AI taking over, right?
Yeah, there's some things that they just can't do, and the only one that can create it is us.
Because the computers, we can't relate to them, right?
Yeah.
Like someone singing a line with emotion in it. And in one of the guests you recently had, our friend Concrete Spew, I'll get the quote wrong, said something to the effect of, musicians, artists are inherently emotional people, are just generally, I think he said generally are emotional people.
Yeah.
That's 100% true, and that's why we love the music we love. That every one of us, what genre you decide you like, is not relevant. What matters is that you found something that you connect with emotionally
Mm. Yeah.
and helps you to navigate this life and understand the world, right?
I actually go to my favorite lyrics all the time for advice. I'm just like, man, I need to get out of bed and go work out right now. I got a song for that. Or I'm sad right now. This is the track I've got for that. Maybe this is the track for someone who needs to get their anger out.
We'll be falling right into this.
Falling right into it. Exactly. Um, cool. Well, besides this track, what else does 2026 look like for Age of Ruin? What else are you guys doing?
We got a whole lot on the plate.
Uh-oh, give it. Throw it at me.
So this is one release. Got a few more planned, a couple special things that we're doing that's I think people will enjoy. It'll be really fun. We have been actively writing for a follow-up record to Nothing Man.
Cool.
Yes, even we probably are planning on getting everything in the pre-production phase done this year to
Nice.
next year. But
Is that do you see Falling being on the next one, or is this kind of a standalone single?
I hadn't thought about that. Probably a standalone, but Ben, what thoughts? I hadn't put any thought into that.
Yeah, I guess something we need to think about, huh?
Yeah.
Because Falling is one of a few singles that we released a few singles last year, similarly, to just keep sharing some of the ideas we have and
Yeah.
with people, and I think the ability to do that now is it's a different way of releasing music
Yeah.
than 20 or 40 years ago, but in a way it's kind of neat, and so we like that, but we also are traditional in that we want to put a full record together. So we're doing a little bit of both, and then a lot of dates on the road coming up. So we've got a few fests that we're about to announce, some that already have, and quite a few shows around that. We actually just got a new van.
Hell yeah.
A new van?
That's right.
Hell yeah.
The Nothing Van.
The Nothing Van.
That's right, man. You'll see the Nothing Van on the road.
Hell yeah.
You should drive past it. You got pull one of these, so you know.
Absolutely. No, I real quick, I wanted to go back to what you're saying about how we're in a new age of how we released our music. I was just having a conversation with a band called Lift the Curse a couple weeks ago, and great dudes, great band. Everybody should check them out. But the guitar player, John, was saying he was just like, yeah, we could make an album. But we kind of just like this new way of putting singles out, instead of waiting a year to drop something. We're like, if we got something ready, let's just put it out. And a lot of times, like bands are finding success off of just putting singles out because it's just like, let's throw this one out. It's like a constant momentum, where it's like a new single every month instead of like, oh, here's 12 tracks all at once. Now go check them out. Like a lot of bands are kind of starting to do this thing. It's interesting.
Yeah, there's no right or wrong way.
Right. Absolutely.
To me, when Nothing Man, we intentionally presented it as an album in that it's meant to be listened to. You can listen to a song at a time, of course, but if you listen to it as a whole, there's a flow to the record, and we had intentionally written some of the songs we wrote in a sort of deliberately in a tempo for the flow of the record. So that's something that I miss in music, and to counter the the argument of, was it Life of, what was the band? I already forgot.
Lift the Curse.
Lift the Curse. Sorry.
Yeah, no, you're good.
That argument from Lift the Curse, which I don't disagree. That's a great way of doing it. There's something about a complete listening experience that.
Oh, I agree.
Think of like Dark Side of the Moon. You put that record on, go sit on the couch and just absorb it and listen to it in its entirety. And it's a listening experience. And that's
I mean, I get that. That's how I grew up. It was funny. There was I think it was in that conversation where we were saying like, before we used to have to like save up our money to buy a whole CD or a whole vinyl. So it's like you listened to that whole thing from front to back. You paid for it. You earned it. Like you wanted to like it as bad, you wanted to love it as much as you possibly could. And there was something about opening it up and tearing the package, and just it was a whole experience. But that experience doesn't really. It's not really there anymore.
I'll just add, though, too, that there's also the economies of scale factor that come into play when you think about how much the level of effort it takes to go drive to a studio and set up your drums and set up all the mics for one song and then tear all that down versus do all of that and then record 10 songs in a row. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So you get to that point, you realize that you're what you're going for is this larger sort of thought out product with multiple songs and everything, a complete album. Then it sort of changes the approach. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So what I would say, what we are trying to do is a little bit of both. And
Yeah. What are your thoughts, Ben? I feel like I haven't heard you in a minute. What are your
Yeah,
thoughts about all this new streaming and the way that the kids are streaming music these days?
I honestly, dropping the singles one after another, especially when it's you know, a band that you really enjoy. Me personally, I'm loving it because, like, I'm getting something new all the time. All
Yeah.
the time.
Yeah.
It just feeds that ADHD.
Yeah, totally.
So
So you're a fan of it. Oh, okay.
yeah, I am, man.
Yeah.
Honestly, like, especially
Yeah.
when you got something you like, man.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'm definitely in a very weird place with it too because I mean, I would buy CDs all the time and just like I was spending so much money on them. Now for the price of like a CD, I can have like everything.
Right.
I can have everything out, with a simple search on, what if it's Spotify or iTunes. Like you have everything if you haven't paid $10 a month or whatever. It's wild.
dude, then you would buy a CD without even heard anything. You're like, I know this
Right.
is that I might like.
Right.
You would
Going just based off the cover.
yeah, or there was a sticker on it that said for fans of Soundgarden or for fans of
Uh,
or whatever. You would say like, oh, that's a genre I like, and you would just take a
Yeah.
total risk, gamble
Yeah.
it all, throw $20 on the counter, say, I'll buy the CD, and you get home, you might not even like it.
But that's what I was saying. Like, if you spend money on it, you're kind of going to force yourself to like it. You're going to be like, I'm going to like this fucking thing, whether I don't or not. Ugh.
Who still has their big book of CDs? The one we used to drive around with, flipping on our lap, trying to find
The visors, the CDs
Yeah,
and the
yeah, right.
visors.
Uh-huh.
When I was younger, I used to have like it was a Walkman, and then it was like a Walkman case that had like slots for the CDs.
Okay.
And whenever I would do road trips, I couldn't wait to like go through my CD book and be like, all right, cool. What CDs do I want to bring with me on this trip?
Yeah, right. Right.
And it was like always such a big deal. I'm like, I got 10 spaces. Which ones do I want to bring?
Oh, and the worst was when you forget to lock your car, and someone would take the CD wallet.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. You're like, damn it.
Like
There was a CD in there.
yeah, like 30 CDs, dude. That's like five.
Yeah, man.
Oh, did you say once someone would steal the case, like the booklet of them?
Just like the booklet with all the.
Oh,
CDs.
yeah. Oh my god. That happened to my dad once. He had like over 200 CDs in there. He was so depressed for a while.
Yeah, man.
But now he's got it all back on the tip of his
That's it.
fingers.
That's it.
You got it back. Awesome. Well, I hope nothing but the best for the success of Falling. It's a great track, and I think it's needed for a time right now. And I think there's something about screaming certain words that just make it feel a little bit better, whether you want to believe it or not. Feasting on the will of humanity. I'm going to scream that out. Yeah, maybe it might make me feel a little bit better. Who knows?
There you go.
So give it a shot. If you're going to the gym, you're going for a run, put on Falling. It'll help. It'll help motivate you, and then you'll feel good as the song's ending because it's like that moment where you're just like, oh, I made it. I was able to run up that hill. I was able to get that, hit those weights on the gym today. Anyway, now I'm just rambling. All right, everyone, go check out Falling by Age of Ruin. Guys, thank you so much for letting me hear this track a little bit early and for coming on and telling your story. This stuff isn't really easy to talk about. But the more people that do, the more people that will. And that's the whole point of all of it. Where can everybody find you at? If they want to keep track of this song and everything else, where would you send them?
This is theageofruin.com is our website. You can go to asiabruin.party. That'll go there too. We are
Party.
asiabruin.party. That's what it just correct.
Cool.
This is the Age of Bruin on Instagram. Those are probably the easiest places now.
Yeah, man.
And we're all over, like you said before, streaming platforms, iTunes, Deezer,
Cool.
Tidal.
Are you able to say what some of the dates are on this? You said you have some dates coming up. You have some shows. Are you able to let us know where those are at by any chance, or is that still on the down low?
It's probably easier just to find them on the internet. They're all over. But
Gotcha. Cool.
One's coming up. We've got, like we said, or I don't know if I said this today, but we've got a couple of weeks. We're doing some pre-production. I did say that earlier.
Mhm.
Coming up to knock out drums on one thing in April, but we've got a couple of dates in May, right outside of Baltimore.
Oh, cool.
Auburn on May 7th, and May 2nd we're playing up in Central Pennsylvania, Clearfield.
Yeah, Clearfield.
Well, if anybody's in those areas, check them out. And I hope you guys are playing Brooklyn or New York sometime soon, so I can go check you out.
Yeah, we'll be up there.
Or maybe since I'm finding so many awesome bands out there, maybe I'll just see you at a show out in Richmond one of these days.
That's it.
I've noticed you've been traveling quite a bit.
Mm-hmm.
Episodes I listened to, you sponsored some shows. One was up in Denver and one was in Richmond. And
Yeah. Well, actually, I did like this weekender tour thing, and where it was in Philly. So I went with them. I went to Philly and I went to Jersey with them. And then, I went to Denver for one. And then, Richmond just this last weekend for Virtuos.
Oh, that's cool. So it was just last weekend. That's cool.
Yeah. It was at Odin's House of Sound.
How was that place?
It was cool. It was really cool.
It looks like it's like a
dungeon.
Yeah.
Yeah, they got these like really cool like columns all down the middle, and then they have these like flickering lights. It just makes it feel like you're in like Dracula's castle or something. It's so sick. You guys should definitely go. It's a sick spot.
Check it out.
Yeah. Well, guys, thank you again so much for coming and telling your story and sharing your song. Everyone go stream Falling now. And if they put a physical copy of this out in any form, buy it so you can rip open the packaging and read the lyrics inside the booklet. Let's get back to reading lyrics.
That's it.
Thank you guys. Appreciate it.
Thanks for having us. It means the world.
Thanks, man.